And the curtain was raised over the weekend, a very controversial curtain, as the Olympics began on Friday. And judging by the pulse of the people, you're not all that excited. But one of the sports I am excited about is the basketball. I always liked the basketball. Because I remember when the Dream Team came around, I was a kid, and I was like, oh, that's like the biggest thing in the world. It's not the same. Not the same stardust that team had. But Team USA pursuing the gold, and the American basketball squad had a play date over the weekend, their first Olympic game with Nikola Jokic and the Serbs. And how did that go? Did you watch? Were you checking this out? Were you engaged? Were you excited? Were you fired up? No? Maybe not. But the often dinged up Kevin Durant, who rarely plays basketball, he's paid as a basketball player, but his body can't hold up. He's very fragile, so he doesn't play that much. But he was out there, and in this particular game, he painted a masterpiece. The first half was perfection as Team USA wrapped themselves in the flag and pummeled the Joker squad, and most of it from downtown, as the Serbia team was outscored by 17 points. USA had a plus 17 advantage from behind the arc. It was a domination situation. Actually, I think it was plus 27. I think I shortchanged Team USA 10 points, so I think plus 27. But either way, they had a lot more points from downtown than Nikola Jokic's team. And since the game itself was not all that competitive, the USA doing what it was supposed to do after futzing around in these exhibition games leading into it. You don't get flowers for doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do it. So congratulations. But we had high drama filling the void from the NBA Finals most valuable player. And this caught my attention. I thought, that's a pretty good story. I like that. Guy just won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the NBA Finals MVP. Jaylen Brown, if you didn't see this, perhaps you missed it. Jaylen Brown calling out Team USA basketball czar Grant Hill in a social media tirade, saying it was, quote, disappointing that Hill implied that Brown is a conspiracy theorist. Now, if you remember the story, we mentioned it briefly in passing. We didn't make a big deal about it a couple weeks back, but Jaylen Brown had previously appeared to call out Nike, that the influence of Nike was what was behind his not being picked. Now, he insinuated clearly that Team USA is in bed looking out for a sponsor, and it's not about putting the top team out there for Team USA basketball. It's all about protecting the interest of the swoosh. That is essentially his comment. I think I'm nailing that in terms of the decision to go with his teammate on the Celtics, Derek White, who I believe wears Nikes. Last I checked, he does. And he was chosen as Kawhi Leonard's replacement on Team USA. So let us discuss the question. Celtic star Jaylen Brown calling out Grant Hill, Team USA, the conspiracy theory from Grant Hill. He was hinting around a conspiracy theory. Whose side are you on this one? So I've got chocolate chip cookie, butcher shop, and tablet. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to plant the landing is what we're going to do. So, I'm on the side of Jaylen Brown on this one. I am. I know a thing or two about this topic because I've seen a thing or two over the years and just being around and witnessing how business is done in major conglomerates and knowing how this works. This is not our first MALLER-palooza, which is coming up in a few minutes, but it's really outlandish, but in some people's minds. But to me, it's not outlandish. It's not that Nike would handpick as many players as they possibly can on the team. That technically they don't get to pick the roster, but if it's 50-50, they have the final say. Right? And you always have to follow how the chocolate chip cookie, the delicious chocolate chip cookie, how it crumbles. Right? Follow the pieces of the cookie. Grant Hill used the old misinformation, right, which is code for things that you don't agree with. That's misinformation. But it is a conspiracy theory. But is it if it's true? Right? wouldn't it be logical to think that if Nike was the one putting all this money up, I'm asking for a friend, by the way, they're the one putting the money up. Grant Hill pulled the scab off. He hinted the C word, conspiracy, right? And trying to ridicule Jaylen Brown indirectly. But we always go on a case-by-case basis with these things. And Nike has a long-standing business relationship worth billions and billions and billions of dollars with the Team USA folks, and they just extended it not that long ago through 2040. So it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So you follow the money, and you follow where the checkbook is. That's the move here, right? And does that lead to them having the Nike people the final edit? Jaylen Brown is not under that umbrella. He's not part of Nike. He's an outlier. In fact, I believe, unless something changed in the last month or so, he's not with anybody. He's a free agent. Jaylen had been with Adidas, and that didn't last, and he's a free agent. He doesn't have a signature shoe, which I'm surprised by, considering he won the Finals MVP. You'd think somebody would expedite that, but alas, we believe it has not happened there. So when in doubt, side with the swoosh. Now, speaking of that, back on the court of sorts. Now, Coach Steve Kerr said after USA won convincingly, he said he felt like an idiot not playing the highest paid player in NBA history. That would be Jaylen Brown's teammate, Jayson Tatum, in the Olympic opener. Do you believe Steve Kerr when he says he felt like an idiot? So I'm shaking my head no on this one. And Steve Kerr, he's going into the butcher shop. He's going into the slaughterhouse there, and he's trimming the fat. And it's a vote of no confidence. No matter what Steve Kerr says, it is a vote of no confidence for Jayson Tatum. And surprising, considering I believe he is a Nike guy, but Jayson Tatum was handcuffed to the bench with Tyrese Halliburton in that first game. And he's a Jordan Brand guy, which is like a first cousin of Nike, Jayson Tatum. And I don't believe Steve Kerr, right? I don't believe him. He felt like an idiot. He felt like that had to be done. Now, speaking of that, the last part of this, LeBron James says that Team USA is so good. They're so amazing, Team USA in Paris, that they got so much power here, so much firepower, that they can rely on somebody different every single game. It's essentially what LeBron said. Do you agree with that? Is that how you see it, that they can do that? So I would argue that on a tablet, if you're looking at your tablet, you'd say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can plug and play this guy and that guy and knock yourself out. But it's one of those things that sounds better in theory than in reality. And we just discussed Steve Kerr benching a couple of key players, at least one key player in Jayson Tatum, because he knows that you cannot just roll anyone out there and have success. And we know that players, and just in general, you need defined roles. There have to be defined roles there. Players perform better. And so the idea of going helter-skelter, okay? All right? Too many chefs spoil the broth and all that stuff. Tatum, he keeps picking up L's here. He got pantsed by Jaylen Brown in the Eastern Finals and the NBA Finals. And so you got that. And now he gets hemorrhoids in Game 1 of the Olympics, not starting and not playing, and that's it. And Tyrese Halliburton, you can understand that a little bit more because he's not completely established, but the Tatum thing, woo-wee! All right, anyway,